All right, hey guys, Jason here. We're at Franklin Chevy up here in Statesboro, great place. We are on a used car lot, and we're going to talk about what to look for, or how to make sure you're getting a good deal on a used vehicle today. Some of the things that you can check out. Obviously, the interior matters, things like that, but there's some telltale signs that we could be watching for. We're going to cover those today. Let me wipe my lens here. Hold on. Sorry. There we go. But we can cover a few things on here. Like here, we got a few vehicles on here we'll look at here. Right here, nice Jeep Rubicon, great setup on here. He's got it on 37s, custom bumper on the front. It's got a winch on the front. Look at this, done up nice, some nice accent details, plastic on there, plastic components. These are all aftermarket plastic pieces. It's got the Jeep pins right here, which makes for quick and easy door removal on there. Is a great system. And side steps on it. This is a 2021. Great one. It's got the 4-cylinder turbo, 2-liter turbo inside of this thing. And it's a nice Jeep. There's no doubt about it. Looks good. Okay, looks real good. Looks clean. Look at that paint. Paint looks really nice. Got 0 complaints on there. Looks good. What do we think of this thing? Well, you know what? It might be a very good deal. But there are some takeaway things that interest me that I want to pass along to you. We're going to hit a few vehicles on this lot, and it's the same with any lot. But we want to cover some of this kind of stuff, things to notice. First of all, we have a lift kit on this Jeep. Okay, we got probably a rough country or something like that lift on this Jeep. We got different springs in there, but we got so it's got a lift on it to fit the 37s. And these 37s this thing's not going to articulate that well the way it's set up with these 37s. So he's not hardcore off-roading, which is good. But we do got 37 by 1250s on this thing, which means that front end is going to be, you're going to get loosened up. Okay, he's got 50,000 miles on this thing, but if he's had 37s on here for a while, these are pretty new, but if he has, then this thing's going to ride a little wandering, a little rough here, because of the fact that the 37s are going to take their toll on that suspension components that are on this, okay? His lift kit didn't upgrade a lot of stuff on there. It's all stock underneath there for the most part other than the lift, which means 37s are going to be pretty hard on it. Now notice here too, we got this nice bumper on the front, okay? You got a good looking bumper on here. We also have a winch. Okay, he's got a winch on here, rough country winch. You can see if you look at that, the winch has been used quite a few times. So it's definitely done some off-roading there somehow, or maybe beach stuff, but there's a lot of mud caked into that winch. So this thing has been used and taken, this thing's been doing some off-road stuff. Also notice here, you got a whole another bunch of wiring going on here. And notice the paint there. See that paint spray? That paint spray right there is from when they repainted this bumper. Okay, this bumper has been repainted. You can see the difference in color in here too. So the bumper has been repainted. Notice they also painted, the fender flares have been painted as well too. This has all been painted. Okay, these have been painted. That's all fresh paint on here. These have been done, sanded down and painted. You can see some of the scratch marks on the plastic work on here and stuff like that from this being taken down a lot. And then obviously it's also apparent with the fact that you got the door pins in here. Love these. I had them on my Jeep too. They're amazing. I'm not taking anything away from them at all. Now we are noticing on here too, if you look, we are getting, let me hit my flashlight. You can see we got some corrosion on that hinge right there. Hang on, let me tone that down a little bit. See it right there? Got corrosion on the hinge. Something to keep in mind and take into consideration. It could be an issue for you. We got a bumper on the back, a custom bumper on the front, custom bumper on the back, 37 on here. His 37 is on a swing out arm of this bumper. This guy put some money into here. But little things catch my attention, like notice that wire just sitting there for no random reason. Wonder what that's for. Makes me curious. We got a hitch on the back, but he has the wiring just laying there as a plug set up right there. because he had to wire it in because of this bumper. You got the swing out bumper again, which has been painted. You can see the difference in colors where this was not, the rest was. And you can see the offset color of the paint on here and stuff like that too. So not a bad Jeep, not taking anything away from it, but you can tell that it has been used a little harder, and then it has been basically cleaned up to look pretty to be turned around and sold. I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm showing you things that you should be watching for and taking a look at when you're buying stuff today. How to spot things that are going to be something you're going to pay attention to. Look at this. We got a high country right here. High country trim level. means that it is not going to be off-roaded, okay? I mean, pretty much guaranteed it's not gonna be off-roaded. And you got the power running boards on here. I mean, for all practical purposes, this is definitely a city-fied truck. And that means that it is gonna be pampered more than anything else. It's got black paint. Notice we don't see much any blemishes or scratches. We don't see a lot of swirl marks. We don't see a lot of stuff in this paint. It's very well maintained. That's something to be said for that and could have some serious potential. We also do not see a whole bunch of wear inside of the hitch. A little bit there, so you towed a boat or something a couple of times, but nothing major. But these are things that you can look at and check out when you're looking at these vehicles. We're gonna go around and hit a few of them on here. We got a couple different versions. Here's a 4Runner right here where they put the sticker on sideways. That would piss me off and drive me nuts. That sticker is not on correct. I would go absolutely crazy on the fact that that sticker is not on correctly. It would drive me nuts. But we got a 2020 with 100,000 miles on it, and SR5, I don't know what they're asking. I don't know anything like that, but you can see that this is in pretty good shape. Looks really nice. Nothing to complain about on here. Looks like the hitch has basically never been used, but notice these are things that you can watch for and pay attention to. Stock wheels, different tires. These are aftermarket tires, nothing fancy, but they're good tires, and we got stock wheels, which means nothing crazy has been done to it, and it's in pretty decent shape. So I mean, these are things that you can pay attention to and notice. And it doesn't look like any clamps have been on the roof bars, so it doesn't look like it's been used for anything there either. So these are little takeaways. Here's another Jeep. Let's take a look at this one. It's the exact opposite of that one. Here is one right here. This one here, we know 100% is not been abused. Now it's been modified. He's got this fancy front bumper on here and this whole setup on there. Yeah, looks nice, all that kind of stuff. He's got the D-rings on here that are bolted into this kind of thing. He's got the fog lights on here. He's got things that like that. That means that there's probably some extra wiring been done to it. It is simple. It's a Rubicon. It is in great condition. Paint looks good. No scratches, no brush marks, no anything like that. They have aftermarket rock rails on this thing, or side steps on here as well too. We'll look at it from the other side. Looks really good. I got zero complaints on the way they've done this. 40,000 miles only on a 2016. 40,000 miles. That's not a lot of miles. We got bigger tires on here. Like I said, frame does not look like it's been rode hard as far as that. I mean, it's got normal wear that you would expect to see for something of this age on here. And we still got our tow hooks on here. He's got a custom exhaust tip on here. And, you know, so that's all neat and cool and fine, just to make it look good. And he did make it look good. It is a nice looking Jeep. Now, we have these massive tires on here, right? These massive mud terrains on here. What are these? Are these 37s? These are, 35s. These are 35 1250. It's got 35 1250s on it. Still has Fox shocks, which are probably stock Fox shocks with remote reservoirs. So I lied. They're not stock, but a good lift on here. And nice setup on this. But now notice that on these, we don't even have a rock chip on here. Okay, there's not even a rock mark on this thing anywhere, which means this thing doesn't leave the pavement. If this thing left the pavement, those would be all chipped up and dinged up with rocks. They're not. It's spotless on there. So this, in all practical purposes, including these wheels, which you can also look inside the wheels for any rock chips and dings in there, for the most part, this is basically a mall crawler, and there's nothing wrong with a mall crawler. It looks good. It made it look fancy. Tried to make it look mean. He did not put a winch on the front. Only external wiring is going to be in these fog lights. So very simple, very basic, and probably a very good buy in a nice looking Jeep done well. That's not too bad. So I mean, stuff like that is what you want to consider. Now we look back here. We got a custom, because he's got the bigger tire setup. Looks like some funky rack back here kind of made on this. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but at least he did it right and didn't try to hang this tire on the stock factory one because it is too big and too heavy. So well done on that one. That's probably pretty good, but these are things that we want to pay attention to. Let's go look at some more trucks over here and see what some of that kind of thing is. Stuff that you can watch for and it will call out for you immediately. Like for example, here, we got a 2500 right there. See that 2500? The brush guard on here alone may or may not matter to people because down here in the South and in many places, people put them on to prevent damage from deer. A lot of people do them. There's nothing wrong with that. We understand it. But we do have the brush guard, We have mud terrain tires, okay? Most people don't do this unless there's a reason to it. Not only do we have mud terrains, we have bald mud terrains. These tires will not make it 5,000 miles, and they're gonna be expensive. Just keep that in mind, okay? And these are good tires. These are Toyo Open Country MTs. Good tires, but they are completely shot and bald. This is gonna be, these are gonna be 35 1250s. You're looking at a few thousand, a couple $1,000s to replace these. So, so those are something that you gotta take into consideration. Not to mention, he's got them jammed in there pretty good. Look at how little bit of clearance you got when you start when you turn these wheels and you start articulating this. You're gonna notice it. It's gonna be tight in there. But what do we got on here? How many miles? Look at all the, now we'll cover this, but it's got 140,000 miles on it in 2016. To be expected, but notice we got scratches all over everywhere on here. This whole thing is marked up, scratched up. Every place you turn is scratch, 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 scratch. You can see them everywhere in the paint, scratches all over. And we haven't even got to the easy noticeable thing, but you can see all these scratches everywhere, all over the whole side of this thing. The whole thing is scratched up pretty bad. We understand that. They'll clean that up, but look at all the scratches in here. Okay, what does that tell you? It tells you dogs. One thing, okay, it's dogs that are, this is done by dogs, but we got scratches and things like that everywhere. We got bald mud tires on it. We got this big front frame grille protector on the front, but now look at the bed. You can tell automatically just by seeing the side. Look at this. Okay, look at the condition of that. So what we have here is we have a truck that has been used very, very hard. And it might be priced accordingly for a very hard used truck. Look at this rail along the top of this thing. Okay, this thing has been used very, very hard. You want to take that in consideration. Had they put a tonneau cover on that and hid that, it might draw more people in. It could have put a $100 tonneau cover on it, cleaned this thing up a little bit nicer. They could have called in their guy that does the body work and did some prep on that paint, and you would have never noticed this. They would have hid most of those features on here. On this one, they did not. They're showing you the real truck and what is here. And I'm sure, like I said, they got it priced accordingly because of the abuse it's taken. But this truck has been used very hard. Look at it, constant getting in and out. See that mark right there from people stepping in and out all the time? Like I said, these are things that you got to take into consideration. Here's another example of that. Okay, let's look right over here. Actually, let's go to a good one first, another perfect one. Look at this. Look at what we got right here. Look at this beautiful bighorn right here. Okay, gorgeous, beautiful truck, Ram. What year is this? Let's see here. We got a 2021 right here. How you guys doing? Good. 2021 Ram Bighorn right here. Nice setup, 75,000 miles. But remember, it's a 2021. That makes it 4 years old with 75,000 miles. What does that tell you? That tells you that it's a highway driver. Okay, he's gonna be driving a lot, and it's gonna probably be highway, which means babied, pampered, smooth going, easy miles. It's a beautiful thing. That's an absolute fantastic thing. We love seeing that. It's got the Hemi in it, 5.7 Hemi in it. Beautiful setup on here. But we know it's taken care of there. The miles, high miles usually mean, high miles, low year means highway driver. We'll take that stuff. We have no problems with that. Notice that the tires that are on here, there's no way they made it 75,000 miles. So they're replaced, and he actually replaced them with basically the same stock tire that was on there or very similar to it. A nice Firestone. He did not go with a cheap junk tire. Means he cared about his truck. The bed, for being that old, looks pretty good. Looks like he used it for some home carpentry stuff and some grabbing some stuff on the weekends and doing some little remodeling, but you don't see any major dents. You don't see any major dings. You don't see any major beat up in the back. Everything looks pretty top notch back there. I can't complain about that at all. Now we do see one blemish right here on the back window. You can see it right there on the mirror, or on the back window right there where that piece of plastic is broken or been hit. So that's one thing you want to consider on here. But for the most part, overall, this is probably a pretty decent used truck because it's been taken care of and it's highway miles. This is the kind of stuff we're looking for. What about this? What's the first thing that jumps out at you at this 250 right here? First thing that jumps right out at you. Okay, should be a couple of things. Well, those lights on the rear are a big factor. They say something. Look at the setup we got going on here. Look at how beat up all this is. Okay, we've lost our cover completely for the 7-way. We got our 4-way still going down here, which is plugged into something going on there. We got these lights right here. Plus we have these lights on there. Those are things that we got to be considering. I'm sure the bed's wrecked Bed's actually beat up pretty good. I mean, not bad, not dented up too bad. A good bed liner will probably hide that and make it look pretty good, but you can tell it's definitely been used. Something has been screwed on to the back of this. You can see all these screws on here like that. And we're gonna come around and take a look at the rest of it. You can see a whole bunch of pinstriping on this truck everywhere on here. Pinstriping all over, these scratches from brush and stuff on here that we can consider. What do we got on this? Only 80,000 miles on a 2018. It's got 6.2 in there, nice motor, nice setup. But we also come around on front here. What do we see in here? See these lights here? Front light on the front, those lights on there. Basically, in a nutshell, what we're talking about here is this one has actually been, this is some sort of a commercial vehicle used by a company doing something. This thing has worked for its living and done its job that way. And I'll bet when you were to look in the inside of this thing, probably some pretty good stains and stuff on those seats that aren't going to come out, but this has been used. This truck has had to work for a living. So you can see here, see this kick up here, see how this is bent up. I mean, this truck has done a job. This thing has served a purpose. Probably means high idle times, probably means a lot of different things, some hard use. Like I said, not a bad thing, but stuff that you want to consider if you were coming in and looking for a, for a Super Duty, and you're looking at one of them, this one here, they clean it up nice, but understand the reality of what you're probably looking for and price it accordingly so that you get the right deal on it. If you like it, nothing wrong. And this will sell. I'm not taking anything away from it, but you got to understand how it got to be where it is today. And these little things that you can look at and notice can tell you that kind of stuff. Here's another red flag one. Let's take a look at here. I saw it when I came up, made a video earlier. I don't remember which one it was. Was it this one? Nope, that one's fine. This is it, 15,000 miles, nice, clean, no big deal. But this one, it's this one right here. So here we go, we got a Duramax, okay, AT4, Sierra AT4 Duramax with the diesel in it. Good looking truck, beautiful setup, nice, okay, we get it all excited. It's got the 3-liter, look at how many miles are on this. 514 miles. 514 miles, and then we get the Carfax right here, one owner, okay, no loss reported, no airbag deployment, no indication odometer malfunction, no recalls reported. There it is right there for you, but we got 514 miles on this. Why would this thing be here with 514 miles on it? Why would it be turned in with 514 miles at all? Half the vehicles I buy, I have 500 miles on it before I even get it back to my house from the dealership. Yet we have one here that is turned back in and being sold as used with 500 miles on it. And people will get excited about that. Sales guys will push that. This one's only got 500 miles on it. They'll give you a story like some guy bought it and his grandma died, so he couldn't keep it no more. Or you realized it was too hard to get in and out. There'll be all kinds of excuses and stories. But what we got is we got a truck that only has 500 miles on it. I would be wanting, before I bought this, I'd be wanting to see a detailed, very detailed, maintenance track record on this thing as far as any issues and things like that, because something is kind of fishy and off there on that one. For me, I'm not a fan. I would shy away from that myself personally. Here we go, 3rd gen Tacoma, right here, TRD off-road, the best trim level there is, in my opinion. Beautiful truck, XP package, which is down here in the southern areas. Southeast Toyota runs those, and they do a fantastic job. I like the XP layout, stock wheels, great tires on this thing, well done. What do we got? We got 15,000 miles on a 2023 TRD off-road. That is exciting. Man, this is just perfect, gorgeous truck right here. Notice these, you see these WeatherTech guards? You know who does these? Old people. Old people do these. You know what old people do too? They drive like very nice and relaxed. Old people also maintain their vehicles very well. And this bed, I don't think anything's ever been in it. Look at that. Nothing's ever been in this bed. This is a 2-year-old truck. Technically, nothing wrong. Old man weather stripping on there, WeatherTech liners on the window thing there, so you can do this. I mean, realistically, paint's perfect, everything's perfect. If you're looking for a 3rd gen Tacoma, this one screams right up your alley as a pretty solid option and a great buy. Nothing. I can't see one thing on here to complain about. Our PPF paint protection film that's on here that we have on this thing, clean. No stone chips, no dings, no nothing. Even with these more aggressive tires, I'm not seeing any damage on here. Nothing back here either. Man, this truck's been taken care of. Look at the hitch. Nothing's ever been in that hitch. Or they repainted it perfectly, one or the other, but I'm not seeing any sign of any issues in that hitch whatsoever. And if they painted it, they did a really good job, like I said. So this is a very nice truck, very, very nice truck, very well done. So that kind of gives you some ideas of some of the things you can and can't, you should be looking for, and how to really go around a vehicle the right way, and just think about the mindset of the person that owned it before and what they've done with it. Hopefully it helps you make the best decision when you're ready to buy your next vehicle. And like I said, I'm not knocking any of these ones that have been used a little bit, as long as they're selling them at the price of the wear and tear that has been on them, rather than trying to hide it. So hopefully this helps you. Thanks for watching. Comments, put them down below.